You trust them. But should you? In life, and especially in power, betrayal rarely announces itself. It whispers behind closed doors, wears a smile in your presence, and claps when you fall. In a world where everyone wears a mask, how do you know who's real? Today, we unravel 5 Machiavellian loyalty tests. Subtle, psychological strategies to expose the fakes, the opportunists. The ones who would trade your downfall for their rise. You won't have to ask who's loyal anymore. You'll make them show you. Let's begin. You have been taught since your earliest days that trust is something noble, something pure. That to trust someone is a sign of strength, of emotional maturity, of being a good person. But what if I told you this? That trust is not a virtue. It's a weapon. One that is either wielded by you or against you. You see, the knave man gives trust freely. He assumes that because he is honest, others are too. He believes that declarations of loyalty are evidence of character. That smiles equal safety. That long-term friendships cannot end in betrayal. That blood means bond. But Machiavelli knew better. And so must you. The court of power, whether in politics, business, or personal life, is not ruled by sentiment. It is ruled by advantage. And those who orbit you are not drawn by your soul, but by your utility, your gravity. As long as you are useful, you will have friends. You will have praise. You will be called king, boss, brother, soulmate, even family. But remove the power, just for a moment, and the illusion collapses. Those who once clung to you will quietly drift away, like leaves falling from a tree that no longer offers shade. Now ask yourself this: is that loyalty, or is that dependence disguised as devotion? This is why trust must be earned, not offered, not even cautiously. It must be taken, pulled, extracted through deliberate tests, slow observation, and strategic withholding. Just as a ruler does not hand over his kingdom's keys to the first smiling visitor, neither should you offer your confidence to those who merely appear agreeable. Because appearances are currency in the game of manipulation. Anyone can appear loyal. Anyone can nod at your ideas, agree with your values, echo your principles. But what matters is not what they say in your presence. It's what they do in your absence. And more importantly, why they do it. You must remember, most people are loyal to opportunity, not to you. Their allegiance lies in proximity to advantage. As long as you're the source of advancement, protection, or prestige, their loyalty will mirror devotion. But strip that advantage away, even slightly, and their behavior begins to shift. They become slower to respond, less eager to support, subtly critical, casually indifferent, until finally they vanish. Without confrontation, without explanation, because they were never truly with you. They were with what you represented. So how do you defend yourself in a world like this? By refusing to play the role of the generous fool. By mastering the art of strategic trust. Let me be clear, you do not have to become paranoid. But you must become precise. Every ounce of trust you give should serve a purpose. It should be calculated. Almost like a bribe in reverse. You give a little, not because you believe in them, but because you want to watch them. You observe what they do with the small power you give. Do they protect it? Do they weaponize it? Do they begin to act entitled to more? This is how you turn trust into a mirror, not a gift. You don't trust them because they seem trustworthy. You give them a piece of the map and see if they try to sell it. And don't confuse time with trust either. A man can be by your side for 10 years and still be plotting. A woman can sleep next to you for a decade and still dream of someone else's empire. Time doesn't create loyalty. Power does. And when power shifts, loyalty is tested. But the tragedy is, most people wait for betrayal to learn this. They wait until the knife is in their back to realize they never knew the person holding it. You can't afford that. You must think like a ruler, even in your personal life. Everyone is auditioning, some for a role in your life, others for a reason to remove you from theirs. Your job is not to trust them. Your job is to study them. And when you view trust as a weapon, the entire game changes. Now, instead of seeking comfort in others' promises, you gain power by resisting them. Instead of being flattered by praise, you question its timing. Instead of seeing loyalty as static, you begin to understand it as fluid, conditional, strategic. They are loyal now because they need you. But what if they didn't? Would they still stand by you? Or would they stand on you? You test this not through confrontation, but through subtle moves. You become deliberate with what you share, how much you reveal, and when you pull back. You give them just enough rope, not to hang themselves, but to show you if they would. And once you learn to see loyalty this way, you will never understand who is truly loyal to you while the sun is shining. Comfort is the greatest illusion. When things are going well, when your status is rising, when you're surrounded by success, when doors open for you without knocking, everyone smiles. Everyone wants to be near you. They congratulate you, flatter you, offer to help. They wear the mask of friendship, allegiance, even devotion. But it's not real. It's not tested. It's not earned. Because comfort hides the truth, and only adversity has the power to reveal it. You must learn this now, before the storm comes. Because when it does, it will come fast, and it will not wait for you to adjust. And in that moment, when your fortunes waver, you will see something terrifying, that most of those who stood beside you were only standing in your shadow, not with you, not for you, merely near you. This is the brutal Machiavellian truth. People are not loyal to people. They are loyal to conditions. Conditions like influence, like access, like protection, like shared enemies. When those conditions fade, the so-called loyalty dissolves with them. Think of it like a ship at sea. When the wind is strong, the sails full, and the ship cuts proudly through the water, the crew sings. They believe in the captain. They nod at every command. But when the storm hits, when the sails tear, when the deck floods, when the ship begins to tilt, that is when true loyalty is measured. Some hold the ropes. Others head straight for the lifeboats. And some will push you overboard. Now ask yourself who around you would do the same. It is in your weakest hour, not your strongest, that loyalty reveals itself. When your power begins to flicker, when your resources tighten, when your voice carries less weight in the room, who still listens? Who still defends your name when you're not in the room? Who still shows up without being asked? These are not philosophical questions. These are survival tactics, because the man who mistakes comfort for loyalty will always be betrayed. He will believe he is surrounded by allies, only to discover they were all opportunists, clapping as long as he had the crown, but disappearing the moment the crown slipped. So what do? You engineer the adversity yourself, before life does it for you. Don't wait for chaos to test their loyalty. Create a little. Introduce friction. Say no when they expect yes. Withdraw when they expect access. Disappoint them, gently, strategically, and observe their reaction. Do they understand or do they retreat? Do they respect your boundaries or punish you for imposing them? This is how you find out who's real. Anyone can be loyal when you are useful, when you are convenient, when things are going their way. But true loyalty is revealed in disappointment, in delay, in drought, when you have nothing to give, no favors, no power, no shield. What remains? You must also study how they treat you in private versus public. Because some will praise you openly, but under pressure, in conflict, or in silence, they will leave your side. Or worse, they will remain beside you, only to collect information to trade later. These are not just fair weather friends. They are political opportunists disguised as allies. And the mistake most people make is thinking that shared history guarantees future loyalty. It doesn't. Just because someone stood with you in a past battle doesn't mean they will in the next. Circumstances change, incentives shift, and loyalty that is not continually tested becomes stale, brittle, ready to break. This is why adversity is your ally. It strips the room bare. It removes the false bonds, the conditional partnerships, the quiet envy dressed as support. What remains is truth. Maybe only one or two people. But those few are worth more than 100 who praise you only when it's safe. Don't run from difficulty. Use it. Let it become your filter. And if you don't have difficulty, simulate it. Delay gratification. Withdraw favors. Ask for something inconvenient. Go silent and see who reaches out. Say no when you usually say yes. Let your power dip and watch how their tone changes. Because that change, that subtle shift in language, in posture, in warmth, is the truth you've been searching for. They don't know it yet, but you've just run the test. And whether they passed or failed, they've revealed what no amount of kind words ever could. And now you know. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to ask them direct questions. You don't even need to tell them you're watching, because the most powerful tool in your arsenal isn't your voice. It's your eyes. Observation. This is what separates the knave from the calculating, the weak from the ruler. While others speak, you must study. While they explain, defend, flatter, and confess, you must remain still, quiet, absorbing everything. Because people reveal themselves not when you ask, but when they think no one is asking. Machiavelli understood this. The prince does not govern merely with armies or laws, but with awareness. He reads the room before he enters it. He hears the silence behind words. He watches the way a man sits in his presence, the flicker in his eye when a name is mentioned, the subtle delay before answering a question that shouldn't be difficult to answer. You must do the same. In loyalty, words are meaningless. Promises are easy to manufacture. Vows are cheap. Even betrayal can be cloaked in beautiful language, justified, rationalized, even praised. That's why words are not evidence. They're camouflage. What matters is behavior. Reactions. The pattern beneath the pattern. Who mentions your name only when others are watching? Who includes you when it benefits their appearance, but not when there is no audience? Watch what they do when praise is being given. Do they mention your contribution, or do they subtly rewrite the story to center themselves? Watch how they speak of others. If they betray someone else's secrets to you, rest assured, they will do the same with yours. You don't need to confront this. You don't even need to correct it. Just catalog it. Learn from it. File it away like a ledger of human nature. Because every small interaction is a clue. Every reaction is a report. When you make a small mistake, how do they respond? Are they quick to distance themselves? Do they joke at your expense in front of others? Do they take the opportunity to feel superior, even for a moment? This is the edge where true feelings slip out. It's in the offhand comments. The way they cut you off mid-sentence. The way they forget the details that matter to you, but remember the ones that benefit them. The way they mimic your words in public, but twist them in private. The way they react when someone more powerful than you walks into the room. Do they change their posture, their attention, their loyalty? You must understand people don't lie by accident. They lie because they assume you aren't paying attention. And the moment they believe you're blind, they become sloppy. That's when the mask begins to slide. But if you are quiet, if you resist the need to always speak, always explain, always react, you give yourself the most powerful position imaginable, the observer. From here, you can watch the chessboard unfold without having to move a piece. You will begin to notice patterns. Certain people only reach out when they need something. Certain people only defend you when it's convenient. Certain people avoid eye contact when you speak truth. Others smile too wide when they think you're losing. These things are not accidents. They are signals. And once you see them clearly, you can never unsee them. But you must practice stillness. Not emotional stillness, political stillness. The kind that allows you to listen longer than you want to. The kind that helps you see through someone's charm. The kind that makes you wait before responding, just to watch them squirm in your silence. Because silence is pressure, and pressure always reveals what performance tries to hide. Try this. Next time someone says something questionable, pause. Say nothing. Let them fill the silence. Let them explain what wasn't asked. They will. Because people fear a quiet ruler. They fear being studied. They fear not knowing what you're thinking. And in that fear, they expose themselves. Observation is not just for enemies, either. Use it on friends. Use it on those who claim to love you. Test their words against their behavior. Measure their support not when you're at your best, but when you're at your most inconvenient. And always pay attention to how they talk about others in your presence. Because every insult they toss behind someone's back is a confession. They are capable of doing the same to you. But you don't need to act on this immediately. That is the mistake of the emotional. They observe, then react. You must observe and wait. Let the knowledge gather like rainwater in a dark reservoir. Let it sit. Let it ferment. Because knowledge, once ripened, becomes leverage. The moment will come when you must choose who to trust, who to reward, who to elevate or discard. And when it does, you won't be guessing. You will already know, because you've been watching. Loyalty is not proven in still waters. It emerges in chaos. When all is calm, anyone can pretend to be an ally. When the plan is clear, the profits are flowing, and there is no danger. Everyone wears the same face. They nod. They cooperate. They swear allegiance. But peace breeds performance, and performance hides reality. You must not trust the peace. You must disturb it. Not recklessly, not loudly, but with precision. Because the only way to know what lives inside a person is to create a situation where their mask no longer fits. That is the purpose of division, not destruction, not betrayal. Division by design. A gentle split in the surface, a ripple in the group, a subtle crack between allies. When done right, division reveals the architecture beneath the performance. It shows you what's truly holding someone together: principle or personal interest. A man who is loyal to power will begin to waver the moment power shifts. A friend who is loyal to image will crumble when the crowd turns. A partner who is loyal to gain will withdraw when gain becomes uncertainty. To test them, you create a controlled fracture. Maybe you delay a decision. Maybe you withhold information. Maybe you present a false narrative to one person and wait to see how far it travels. You do not do this to be cruel. You do it to measure, to observe. Because what they do when they believe you are unsure or unavailable or slightly divided from them is far more honest than anything they say to your face. People are loyal until they think you're no longer useful. Until they believe there is a better alliance. Until someone whispers a sweeter lie. So, you whisper your own. You suggest a conflict that doesn't exist. You favor one side subtly. You praise one member more than the others. You remain silent when expected to speak. You thank one contributor and forget another. And then you wait. Not for violence, but for reactions. Who gets jealous? Who pulls away? Who questions your leadership behind closed doors? These are not betrayals. These are indicators. Because real loyalty does not collapse under small pressure. It does not panic when hierarchy shifts. It does not compete for your attention. Instead, it remains still, grounded. Even when confused, it remains committed. And that is what you are searching for: not agreement, not flattery, but endurance. You must understand people reveal their character when they believe they are safe to do so. So make them feel safe. Make them feel like you're distracted, like you're uncertain, like the power dynamic is shifting. Then listen, then watch, because the gossip will start. The alliances will shift. The passive aggression will rise. But within that chaos, you will see truth. You will see who adapts with dignity and who schemes to get ahead. This tactic is older than any throne. The great rulers never waited for enemies to rise on their own. They created pressure. They introduced tension, often between their own allies, just to see who emerged hungry and who stayed loyal to the crown, even when the crown was tilted. You must think the same way. You do not need to destroy trust. You only need to observe what people do when trust is not guaranteed. Do they turn to others? Do they question your authority? Do they suddenly become independent in a way that feels more like defection than maturity? Or do they stay present, quiet, faithful? Even when confused, even when the situation seems uneven, they remain anchored to you. Not because they understand everything, but because their loyalty is real. And here is the hidden truth. Those who panic in controlled division would have betrayed you in real crisis. So better you find out now, when the chaos is artificial, than later when your kingdom is truly under siege. This is the essence of Machiavellian testing. You don't wait for life to test them. You test them yourself. You simulate the storm. You ignite small fires and see who fans the flames and who runs to fetch water. You scatter just enough doubt, just enough difference in treatment, and you take note of who leans in closer and who steps back. Because when division arrives, you don't want to be guessing. You want to already know who stands where and why. Not all division is destructive. Some division is revelation. So now, you understand what most never will. That loyalty is not declared. It is discovered, not through words, but through pressure. Not in peace, but in adversity. Not by asking, but by watching. You've been handed 5 weapons, each one sharp, each one silent. You don't wield them like a fool who seeks revenge. You carry them like a ruler who seeks clarity. You now know that trust is not a gift. It's a calculated risk. That real loyalty is measured not when things are easy, but when things begin to fall apart. That observation, quiet, patient, ruthless, is more powerful than any confrontation. And that division, when used with purpose, reveals truth faster than any oath. Because you're not here to be liked. You're not here to be reassured. You're here to see, to know who's real before it's too late. Power is not given, it is protected. And those who fail to test loyalty will always suffer betrayal when it hurts most. But you won't be surprised, because you've already run the test. You've already seen behind the mask. You already know who stands with you, and who only stands near you. And that, more than anything else, is what keeps a ruler alive.